Hello, my name is Dominique Damien, and I'm a safety director with Washington Farm Bureau. Today, we will be covering implement safety. This training is intended for employees, but it does not substitute the tractor or implement manufacturer's operator's manual. It is intended only to serve as a secondary supplement. We will be going quickly, so please feel free to ask questions throughout. This is also being recorded, so you will have the opportunity to revisit it at a later time. Why is hitch safety so important? Accidents involving implements take only milliseconds to cause serious injury or death, yet they're completely preventable. First, employees should always conduct a walk-around inspection prior to operating each time. Evaluate the surrounding environment. Assess the ground conditions like slope, moisture, soil stability, and the proximity of obstacles like ditches, buildings, or other equipment, and power lines. Check the tractor and implement to ensure that they are safe to operate by ensuring all guards are in place, the conditions of the tires are good, there aren't any fuel leaks, and test the brake and steering function. Assess the compatibility of the equipment, such as the power and hitch types, the condition of the pins, and the safety chain. Ensure that bystanders are clear of the area, and then adjust the implement hitch height to align with the tractor drawbar height. A hitch jack can help raise the implement to meet the height of the tractor. If the implement is negative weight and the tongue is in the air, weights may be needed or use of a mechanical device like a winch. The drawbar hitch uses a single attachment point. They can either be fixed or adjustable. If the tractor is in the large category, only operate it at a suitable power for the implement. If the implement is in the large category, ensure that the tractor is large enough to safely handle it. Use the largest pin diameter that will fit through the tractor drawbar and implement hitch. Ensure the pin will not slip through the larger clevis hole, and heavy-duty washers may be required for that. Use pins supplied only by reputable dealers and farm parts stores. Low-cost hitch pins from some sources may be inferior. And then ensure that the pin is securely locked in place. The clevis to tongue connection provides the safest and most stable loading of the drawbar pin while allowing the required vertical angular capabilities and rotational capabilities. Newer tractors are generally equipped with a clevis on the drawbar. Clevis to clevis connections are unsafe as they can limit angular movement and put extremely high loads on the pin and other components, which can lead to mechanical failure. To remedy this, convert one of the clevises to a tongue for safe connection. Additionally, the tongue-to-tongue connections are also unsafe as they can result in accidental detachment of the implement. The tendency for quick fixes using bolter pins are unsafe practices, even if a retainer is used. It is recommended that the tractor have a clevis installed to achieve the safest connection. The three-point hitches on tractors provide a connection that links the implement to the tractor and keeps the implement supported and in line with the tractor at all times. The two lower links are the two arms that connect to the lower attachment points on the implement. On mini tractors, the lower links can be set to different modes of operation. There's the depth or position control, where the draft links are positioned and remain at the height set on the control lever. Use this setting for hitching. There's the float control, where the draft links are raised and lowered by the attachment implement as it follows the contours of the grounds without any interaction from the hydraulic system. Don't use this while you're hitching. And then there's the draft load control. The three-point hitch is responsive to changes in the amount of draft load produced by the implement, automatically raising and lowering the height of the draft links to keep the draft on the tractor relatively constant. Again, don't use this while hitching. The upper link provides the third connection point for the three-point hitch to maintain a stable tractor to implement connection. This link usually has a screw adjustment to shorten and lengthen the link, which can be adjusted by hand. There's sway chains, sway blocks, or sliding fixed members. These restrict the side movement of the draft links to prevent interference with other components on the tractor, such as the tires. Many implements use power takeoff or PTO drivelines to power it. These can be incredibly hazardous. It takes only a fraction of a second for an employee to recognize they've made a mistake near a PTO shaft. That's why it's incredibly important to always check the guards and make sure they're in place prior to operation. If the guards are damaged or missing, do not continue until they are replaced. The power takeoff or PTO is guarded by the master shield on top of the tractor. It may be hinged to allow easier connection of the implement, but must be lowered prior to the operation. The PTO stub shaft guards enclose the stub shaft when the PTO is not in use. And then the bell guards protect the bell of the PTO, and the shaft guard protects the length of the shaft. Always ensure the implement and tractor are compatible to prevent shaft failure. PTO-driven implements operate at 540 RPM or 1000 RPM. An implement configured with a 540 RPM driveline should not be connected to a 1000 RPM tractor, nor should a 1000 RPM implement driveline be connected to a 540 RPM tractor. Here are the typical drawbar lengths. Refer to the implement operator's manual for the correct drawbar length for the specified implement. Never allow damaged drivelines or components to be used. Replace them only with approved parts. The implement driveline must be correctly aligned or in phase to prevent excessive vibration and strain on the driveline components. The correct alignment requires the end yokes of the U-joint to be positioned in the same plane. Make sure there are manufacturer recommended shear pins readily available in case one fails. Slip cut clutches and other overloaded devices should be checked for correct operation. To install the PTO, support the weight of the implement driveline by cradling it in your hands around the shaft guard. Do not lift the implement driveline by the end bell guard because it may damage the guard. Align the implement driveline U-joint splines with the tractor PTO stub shaft splines. If the splines will not align, try turning the PTO stub shaft or the implement driveline slightly. Slide the implement driveline U-joint onto the tractor PTO stub shaft until the implement driveline locking mechanism is engaged. Self-locking collars or push pin locks may have to be disengaged first to allow the implement driveline to slide onto the stub shaft. Ensure the PTO is locked in place prior to engaging or transporting the implement. Verify the implement driveline has locked on the stub shaft by pulling back and forth on the implement driveline, and then replace the master shield. Ensure the tractor wheels do not contact an implement driveline and ensure there isn't any debris on the shaft. If the driveline is not in use during transportation, it must be securely stored. One-person drawbar hitching systems have been developed to make one-person hitching much more convenient. These systems allow the primary mechanical connection to occur with the operator on the tractor so that only one trip is required to complete the engagement of the safety locks and non-mechanical connections. For three-point hitches, one can use a quick hitch coupler. These stabilize the three hitching points on the tractor to meet the points of the implement with one action. The operator simply backs up to the implement so that the hooks on the quick hitch align with the implement and then locks them in place. Many implements now have hitch jacks that help set the vertical position of the hitch. If your implement does not have one, you may contact a dealer to install one. The selection will depend on the hitch load rating. Recent standards specify that hitch jacks must be able to withstand a side load of 50% of the vertical load. They are not usually designed to take the full force of a loaded wagon, so if you're using it for a wagon, ensure you empty it before hitching and unhitching. And then ensure employees who hitch alone, if you're an employee who hitches by alone, follow this checklist. Establish a callback person. If you don't contact them at a predetermined time, that person will initiate measures to check in on your safety. Back up to the implement at the slowest possible speed. When you're within 1 foot of it, stop the tractor and ensure it won't move. Dismount it and observe the drawbar link and hitch alignment. Lower or raise the implement hitch to make the height of the tractor meet the height of the tractor using a jack or block. And there shouldn't be any horizontal misalignment. Then return to the tractor, disengage the brake, make a steering correction based on the estimated side-to-side offset, and slowly back up the tractor by the estimated distance. Some 3-point hitch tractors have telescoping draft links that can facilitate positioning from a distance. But you may need to remove the anti-sway bars or chains. Once the draft links are attached, align the top link hole with the top pins. This may be done by turning the threaded adjustment on the top link. After the drawbar and implement hitch holes are aligned, insert the pins and install the pin positioning lock. If there's more than one person hitching, ensure they have coordinated hand signals and maintain visual contact. The helper should remain safely outside the path of the tractor until the tractor is stopped. The operator should back up to the implement at the slowest possible speed. Stop the tractor and then set the brake. Then signal to the helper it is safe to do the inspection of the alignment. The helper can raise or lower the implement, then step out of the path of the tractor and signal to the tractor operator it's safe to continue backwards. The operator can then disengage the brake and adjust steering according to the helper's instructions. Once the implement hitch aligns with the tractor, the operator must stop and engage the brake again. The helper then can insert the hitch pin and positioning lock. For 3-point hitches, the helper will secure the lower draft links first and then the top link. A safety chain is required as a safety backup. The safety chain maintains connection between the implement and the tractor, and if the primary connection fails. The minimum strength should be equal to the gross weight of the implement being towed. The rating of the safety chains will be marked on the metal tag and should not be detached from the chain. Attach the safety chain at a secure location. Never attach the chain to an intermediate support. If the distance of the drawbar pin to either the front or rear chain attachment exceeds the values below, intermediate chain support is required. So for chains rated for 30,000 pounds or less, the distance cannot exceed 9 inches. If it's rated for 40,000 pounds or less, the distance cannot exceed 11 inches. The slack in the chain should only be enough necessary for articulation. Ensure that the safety chain has not been damaged. Chains that are not in use should be properly stored. Accidental implement disconnection on public roads could result in serious injury or death and property damage. Never tow an implement on a public road without a hitch pin retainer and properly sized safety chain. Hydraulic power has become a very popular method to provide various implement operations power for various functions, such as raising and lowering the implement, providing rotational power, or engaging in mechanisms. Hydraulic oil under pressure can also pose a serious health and safety risk if it's not handled properly, though. It can penetrate the skin and cause serious eye damage. When there's a leak identified, ensure you relieve the pressure and turn the engine off. Understand that even when the implement is disconnected, the hydraulic lines may still be under pressure. The pressure should not be relieved by impacting the tip of the male coupler. Wear hand and eye protection. Examine the hose to identify the break or the crack, and repair or replace the lines according to the manufacturer. Before applying pressure to the system again, ensure all hoses and fittings are not damaged and all connections are tight. For many years, hydraulic connectors have been standardized so all implements hydraulic lines can be coupled to all tractor hydraulic outlets. Before connecting, clean both the male and female portions of the fittings. Do not operate the tractor hydraulic controls until all circuits have been completely connected. Although most tractor hydraulics will allow implements fittings to be connected under pressure, leaving an implement under pressure in the hoses is dangerous. Temperature can expand oil and increase system pressure. After connecting, test the equipment to ensure components move as expected. Properly maintain the equipment according to the manufacturer's recommendations. And when you're transporting it, engage the transport safety locks to ensure the hydraulic components cannot accidentally be moved or activated. After the implement is properly connected, slowly raise and lower the implement to check for any interference between the tractor and implement. Prior to beginning any field operations, the following should be checked: implement leveling, implement rate of drop control, implement side sway adjustments, and the upper center link adjustment for proper draft control sensing if equipped. Always lower the implement to the ground, shut off the engine, and remove the key whenever temporarily leaving the tractor. When disconnecting and storing implements, consider the ground condition of the storage location. Choose a firm, level, and well-drained area for storing the implement to prevent the implement from rolling, sinking, or disconnecting from the tractor. Lower the hitch jack, if it's equipped with one, or the block. Block the wheels to prevent it from rolling and engage the brake. Attaching a single point load to any location other than the drop bar or top link of the 3-point hitch could cause rollovers, which can cause serious injury or death. Attaching an implement changes the center of gravity of the tractor. Improper hitching, overloading, and quick motions may cause rollovers. Never attach an implement to a 3-point hitch unless it's designed for it. The mass of the implement carried behind the tractor shifts the tractor's center of gravity and can change the handling capabilities and stability. Operators should avoid traversing steep slopes or climbing embankments when heavy implements are being carried. To summarize, only attach compatible equipment to the tractor. Always follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Do a walk-around inspection every time. Never step over rotating PTO shafts. Never wear loose clothing, drawstrings, or loose hair near a PTO. Properly maintain the equipment and transport and store the equipment properly. Again, I know this went quickly. That's why we are including our contact information here. If you have any questions, please reach out. My name is Dominique Damien. I'm out of the Lacey area. Jeff Lutz is out of Kennewick, and Luis is out of Sunnyside. Thank you and have a good rest of your day.